Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Give Me God of War walkthrough, and this is the Grendel of Frost and the Grendel of Ashes boss fight. This is two derivative troll-like creatures that have unique movesets in some ways, but kind of operate on the same principles of being fundamentally underwhelming. And the strategy here is simple. You'll notice the Grendel I just was beating up is now healing that I'm not beating him up. And he'll heal up to a threshold that his partner is in proximity of. So in order to damage these enemies, you have to damage one and then damage the other in the equivalency to make sure that the damage counts. One is fire, one is ice. Of course you have to swap between your weapons to maximise on damage. And the strategy is pretty simple because the damage you do to them is really high in the grand scheme of things. You're going to try and wait for their attacks, you're going to bait them, you're going to punish them, and you're going to punish them with the heaviest thing you can hit them with. And you want to try to even out damage both ways as best as possible. Whenever they do any of the moves that have the pillars coming out of the ground, be very cognizant of where they are, because if you go near them, they will blind you and do damage. And you don't want anything to do with them because they detonate quite quickly. And if you leave them be, they will stay in the environment, and it can only mean bad things. So be mindful and then punish accordingly. But at the moment I'm not really getting the moves I want. There is one cool aspect of this fight, which is the Grendels can hit each other, so you can get really lucky with a big hit from one of them. And just then, like that move right there, I was able to block something you would think I would not be able to block, right? But I just did it easily, effortlessly, and we can get on with our lives. But it's such a strange fight, this one, because it seems like it's going to be way more difficult than it is. And you can just kind of hold your block and watch what the other one's doing and do your moves and then quickly swap to the different weapon and try and make sure that the damage stays. And this entire time you can be spamming the shot with the boy to make him shoot them and do extra damage to them. It's entirely up to you. I don't do that because I want them attacking me. And I've already lamented previously that you'll find a lot of the times when you shoot at these big enemies, they tend to attack the boy, and it can make things confusing. Whenever they scream like that, it is telegraphing that they're going to do the running slam, and the one thing you need to know about that move is the actual running part of it is a hitbox. So if you're in front of them and they run past you, they will hit you and knock you over. It's a little frustrating, especially if you try to sprint to evade it towards it, because you can't simply just run towards him and he overshoots you. You'll hit his leg and take damage. So you'll notice a lot of my evasive patterns here, instead of dodging, are just sprinting away from their area of influence. And then once they do it, of course, you can move in and start doing your general combos. You can start blocking whatever follow-ups they've got and avoiding those crazy rock things. I don't know what you would call them because I don't know the difference between stalactites and stalagmites. One's on the ceiling, one's on the ground, and I always forget which one it is. But there goes one of the Grendels. The other one is incredibly weak as well. The boy does great damage to them because they take great damage. That's his telegraph for the running attack. Run in there and punish him. When it's just one left, you should be fine. Of course, make sure you're using the right weapon or you won't be fine. And be careful of these ever-present ground mines. But there you go. Grendel of the Frost is on his ass. That's the end of a boss fight. And then all we have to do now is pick up the loot in the room and then exit Tia's vault. And it was a pretty quick section. We got through it rather swiftly. This is me looking at Tartarus's rage. You haven't seen me do too much of that in the walkthrough because I wasn't quite reminiscent of which one it was. We pick up the flame to upgrade the blades, and then once again the only thing left to do is finish looting and get out of dodge. And we're now moving into the final moments of the game. There are a couple of things left of us to do involving Tia, a couple of difficult encounters, and then of course the penultimate boss fight. Now, what do we get in the treasure? Do we get anything good? As we take the black rune with us. Oh, it's another move. A weightless grip of protection. So it is a pommel for the blades. I don't really know which one I'm using, but it's probably one that gives me the most strength. And the way out of this place is the doorway that is sealed. All the open doorways will lead to the places we've just been. We don't want that, we want this one. And of course it's going to trigger a transition, but you're not going to see that, boys and girls. So thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.